Now, Luton captain Tom Lockyer remains in hospital after suffering a cardiac arrest on the pitch at Bournemouth on Saturday. The club have confirmed the defender is still undergoing tests and scans before the next step of his recovery are determined. Fulham are preparing to face Everton in the EFL Cup quarter-final tomorrow night. Head coach Marco Silva says player welfare has to remain the #1 priority.
We clubs, we have to do it, and of course Premier League and everyone that is involved in this business, of course. And the health is always the most important thing in our life, in all the jobs that we have. Doesn't matter what is the job, what is the business that we are, and all that stuff has to be always the first thing on the top, because without that it's impossible to be here. And of course it's what all the clubs in Premier League they do it, because that we take care of the players, we follow them, we do a really battery of all the exams possible that to protect them from everything, and is what we all as the Premier League clubs and the Premier League too is going to keep doing. And of course great work from the doctors in that situation again to help the player. Difficult situation for sure for everyone that was in that stadium, Bournemouth Stadium, for the players, for all the staffs there. We wish clear always all the best for all the players and for the player as well, because we are all with him.
We're all with him. Marco Silva there, talking about Tom Lockyer. Again, those will be reflected by all of us in here. First of all, Sue, it kind of puts everything into perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, football doesn't matter when something like that happens. And we were actually doing Soccer Saturday when it happened, and we all spoke after the show, and we were just like, football didn't matter. We just wanted to know that Tom was okay, and you just thought of his family and his friends sort of listening to everything that was going on, because we didn't obviously know what was happening at the time. So yeah, it puts it into perspective, and the health and welfare of the player is all that we cared about. We didn't really care about the results or what was happening. It was just about that game, and knowing that he was going to be okay was the main thing. And
Jay, I wonder what hearing that, seeing that did for you, because you suffered something very similar. Talk us through that.
Yeah, so in the middle of 2021, we was during the season in Japan. I played a game, I played 90 minutes and everything was fine. But the week after that, I was doing some fitness training with the coach, and I was just doing 10-yard sprints, and I was just gasping for air. I couldn't breathe. And this carried on, for a couple of days. And as a person, as a player, you don't really think, your heart is a problem, because you're fit, you're a football player. But for me, I developed an atrial flutter. I believe it was the same as what Lockyer had in the summer, the first case. And it's really scary, because for me, I was 39. And when I got told that, I was like, oh, my career's over. But my resting heart rate at the time, generally, because we're athletes, you get measured at the beginning and the end of a season. My resting heart rate is generally low anyway. It was like 35, 36 beats per minute. And when I went to have it checked, it was like up and down. It was going from 90 to 105. And it was really scary to see that. Because, you can have all the injuries in the world, but they can be fixed. When you have a problem with your heart, that's serious. That's a near-death experiences. So I can completely understand what Lockyer's going through, what his family's going through. And for me, when I experienced that, it was my family that I was most concerned with. My sons that will see that. I was across the other side of the world, but I mean, it's really scary for your loved ones to see you go down and have those kind of heart issues. I mean, I really, really have sympathy for himself and his family, because it's going to be a really, really difficult time for him now.
Yeah, because there's the physical side that you described well with your heartbeat, and the operation they went kind of keyhole through and managed to fix that.
Yeah, so what they do, they run a device up through your main artery in your groin and run it up into your chest. And basically, for me, the valves of my heart were swollen. And I guess it was the same with Lockyer. I don't want to say it definitely was, but it's something similar, where they would basically burn away the artery, burn away the walls in the valves of your heart to make the blood flow more efficiently through your heart again, which takes stress off away from your heart, so it starts beating more, consistent. Whereas before it would be like, for me, when people talk about you can feel your heart beating out your chest, like I literally could feel that. I could feel my heart beating slowly, and then all of a sudden it was going really fast. Again, it was really scary. But they did say to me at the time when I came around, and I said to them, can I, when can I do exercise again? Because in my mind I was thinking my career's over. I said, when can I do exercise again? And they was like, oh, you can start training again in like 3 or 4 weeks. And I was like, so you mean I can play football? And they was like, yeah, you can come back, 9 times out of 10, it will be fine. And that's obviously what's happened with Tom. He's come back, and, you come back thinking it's fixed now, but then it's so unfortunate, it's reoccurred again.
Did you have a fear when you went back?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Did you?
Because when I got out of breath, I was thinking, I'm putting my heart, I'm straining my heart again. So I was nervous, but then as the days go on and the games, you start playing the games again, it's almost like you forget about it again. But initially, I was thinking about my heart beating, because you can't get away from it. If you have a knee injury, as soon as there's an opportunity to have a block tackle, you're maybe a bit reluctant to go into it. It was the same thing for me with my heart condition.
So you were thousands of miles from home.
Yeah, straight away my wife said...
It's the emotional thing, I guess, as well as the physical thing.
Yeah. I mean, straight away my wife said, you're not playing football again. Because I told her this, and she was like, and I was like, I can play again. I've been told I can play again. And she was like, you're not playing again. But my love of football kind of always trumped that. Yeah. You just want to come back. You love the game. It's what what I've done since I was 9 years old. So yeah, I did come back, and I haven't had any problems since that. But you see with Tom, he has. So now it's like you really forget. Football's secondary now. Football is non-existent. It's all about your health. So right now, it's going to be difficult for him to move forward. And for what his family must be thinking, I experienced it with my family. It's really, really hard for them.
Yeah. I'm guessing. I don't want to use the word luck because you weren't lucky, but it was kind of lucky for you that this happened in training and you could go and get the... There must be quite a few footballers out there who don't know they have this, and therefore is the screening enough? Is there more that people can do? I don't know the answer to that. I'm not saying they should be, but it's your sense that they could be.
I think there should be more testing, because I think the test I've had is just like, it's very simple. You're kind of in and out in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I think when you look at football now, there's so many heart issues. It's just like more and more is happening. And yes, the game is getting faster and faster, but I think they need to do more extensive tests in order to have players more safe going forward, because it's not okay to just like walk on a treadmill or run on a treadmill, have some tests done. Yeah, you're all right. I think now they need to look at it in more depth.
And I wonder as well, Luton will of course be waiting for news on Tom Lockyer. In the meantime, his teammates, and he is such a huge, integral part of the squad. He's their captain, he's their leader.
Can I say, honestly, when I came back to training, my teammates was like, are you sure you can play and you can train? That's what his teammates will be thinking. Again, it doesn't matter about the game, it doesn't matter about your career no more. They would be thinking the same thing. They went away from that game thinking, his life was on the line. Yeah. And it was, thank God, that everyone came on the pitch, everything was handled really well, really efficiently, so he could go to the hospital and recover. But it must have been just as scary for his family as it was for his teammates.
Well, you could see the emotion, couldn't you, in Rob Edwards' face there, and that's because they're not just your teammates, they are your friends. They're somebody that you see on a daily basis. And I can only say if I've been on a football pitch and one of my friends gets injured and it's a bad injury, and how you feel, and you don't want to go back on the pitch because you're just thinking about them and thinking, well, I hope they're okay. So you think this is another level, isn't it? So the right decision was come to, that the game had to be abandoned, because
100%.
both sets of players, not just the Luton players but the Bournemouth players as well, wouldn't have been right to have come on the pitch, because they wouldn't have cared about football.
No.
They just wanted to go away, make sure that their friend and their teammate was okay, and that was the most important thing.
100%.
It's because football at this time of the season is so intense, isn't it? That in some ways they've got... I don't know how you do it, because they've got Newcastle, big game, then they've got Sheffield United, which is a huge game down the bottom for them, and then they've got Chelsea before the turn of the year, which is 3 massive games in very quick succession, and yet they've got this as well. So
And Tom was playing fantastically
Yeah, he
well.
was.
He was like one of the he was one of the most important players, first name on the team sheet for Luton. So it's really, really disappointing that this has happened. Everyone, you know, is sympathetic to himself and his family, but football carries on, you know. And now I'm hoping that will galvanise the team, and the boys will be going out there saying, "Let's do this for Tom."
him. Yeah. Absolutely, that's the way to motivate you. Not that you need any sort of motivation, but it is. Let's do it for Tom, and I'm sure, you know, when he's back and he's able to go and support the team initially, I'm sure that's exactly what he'll say. Because like you said, he's been a real leader in that dressing room. So yeah, they'll certainly want to do it for him.
100%.